Hi there, it's Chad Wilson again with Foundation Bank, and I'm happy to spend this video talking about the why of budgeting. Why should you have a budget in the first place? Is it really worth taking all the time and maybe even the education to learn how to do a budget? Is it really going to help move the needle? I think the answer is yes, and I'm going to give you 4 reasons why I think it's really important to have a budget. All right? Reason number 1 to have a budget is that budgeting shows you a bigger financial picture. All right? You know that if you're on Google Earth and you put in a particular house address, it will take you to an aerial view of that address. And that can be helpful, but it may be that you're really trying to see more than just that address. You want to see the neighborhood. And so in order to see the neighborhood, you have to press that little zoom out button, and it brings the picture a little higher, takes the elevation up, and maybe you can see the entire neighborhood. Maybe you actually wanted to see more about the town itself, not just the neighborhood, but you wanted to get a better feel for the town. Well, then you would continue to zoom out. That's really what budgeting is. It's an opportunity for you to zoom out on your finances and be able to see the entire picture. There are a lot of things that will give you snapshots of pieces of what you've got going on. But a budget gives you a broad look at all of the income sources and all of the expenses that you're going to have over time rather than at one point in time. All right? Budgeting allows you to even look at an entire year and decide, what am I going to spend my money on this year? Budgeting, in essence, is you telling your money what to do. And you have to look at the big picture in order to be able to do that. So the first reason is budgeting shows you a bigger picture of your finances. All right. Secondly, budgeting shows you what your bank account doesn't. All right. I mentioned to you that there are certain financial tools that show you a snapshot in time. That's really what a bank account does. It shows you, as of today, this is how much money you have in your account. It also shows you a history of all the things that have come out of your account, but it does not show you what is coming in the future. Let's say today that you have $300 in your checking account, and you're feeling pretty good about yourself because there's a positive balance there, and you think, okay, I've got a little bit of money that I've got to spend. You may not realize that you've got a $400 car payment that's going to be coming out in 4 days. You don't see that coming, and so that's going to overdraw your account. You may not have enough money to cover it. So budgeting shows you what your bank account doesn't. It shows you forward and not just at this moment or backward. It shows you what is coming down the pike. It's simply not enough for you to pull up your mobile banking app to see how much money is in there and see, do I have enough to cover food with this money that's left over? Because you've got all these other obligations that are scattered throughout the month. Some come the 1st of the month, some come the 15th of the month, some come at the end of the month, and somewhere in between. And so your budget allows you to chart out what's coming. Do you remember those old, I say old, because they used to be the only thing we had, Rand McNally road atlases? They're often that big, they're huge. You can still buy them at Walmart, and they're maps. Good old-fashioned maps. Before we had iPhones and before we had GPS devices, we actually used maps. And I can remember this. I'm not so young that I don't remember using those. If you go on a trip, let's say it's an 8-hour trip, you would probably look over that atlas and you would look ahead and say, all right, we can eat lunch here, we can stop here for the bathroom, we can eat dinner here. You kind of plot out what's coming down the road. typically you wouldn't just take off and just say, well, we'll stop when we want to stop and we'll sleep where we want to sleep, and we'll maybe sometimes you do that if you're driving out west, but most of the time you plan those things out. Well, budgeting is similar. Budgeting shows you things your bank account doesn't. Your bank account could be maybe a look at what your mileage is on your car and how many miles you've already traveled, but it doesn't look ahead, and budgeting does. So budgeting allows you to look forward. It tells you things your bank account doesn't. Number 3, budgeting allows you to give every dollar a home. This is a phrase that my kids get really tired of hearing me say. Everything has a home. When I walk in after a day of work and I find clothes in the hallway, or toys on the couch, or things on the stairs that don't need to be on the stairs, I say, kids, everything has a home and everything needs to go in its home. That's actually, I think, just a true statement of life. Everything has a home, and that includes money. Every dollar that you make needs to go toward 4 different activities. Do y'all remember what those might be? We've talked about those in previous videos. We want to take every dollar and either it's coming in, we're earning it, so it's coming into our care, and we either want to give it, we want to save it, or we want to spend it. Those are the homes that we can give to our dollars. And we can make sure that of all the things that we want to spend money on, we're making sure that the most important things are accounted for, that we give those dollars homes. Dave Ramsey likes to use an envelope system to do this. You end up putting cash into envelopes that say food, or that say gas, or that say all of these different categories. It's putting every dollar into a home where it is going to eventually be spent. You have to do this, or you're going to get surprised, and there's going to be something that you haven't thought about that is going to blow up your budget. So reason number 3, budgeting allows you to give every dollar a home. The last reason is that budgeting, and this is, let me say before I share this 4th one, this is really probably the most important and really the bottom line of all of it. Budgeting helps you spend less than you make. I want to say that one again because I would call that the heart of budgeting. Budgeting helps you spend less than you make. At the end of the day, the categories, the tracking that we're going to talk about is pointless if it doesn't help you spend less than you make. Because what will torpedo your financial health is to consistently spend more than you make. That is simply not sustainable, and it will end up leading to a financial disaster. It may take time for that to happen, but eventually it will happen, and your finances will be in a mess for quite a while. So budgeting, really at the end of the day, the 4th reason and most important reason is it helps you spend less than you make, and that's really what we're trying to accomplish. So we're going to watch a video that is going to highlight that in future episodes, that's going to help us to see the importance of spending less than we make. We'll talk more about that in future videos.